convicted, and this is a big loss to this is an economic loss to the person that created the company that produced this food. Because not only were they fined in a court of law, we're also burning a lot of food. As you notice, we have 65 bags of flour. That's the raw goods. And the processed goods, we have 2,000 bags, each bag containing 30 packets. That's a lot of money, and they are responsible for paying for it. So what we want people to know, people involved in producing food, is that think about it before you make this mistake, because it's a very costly mistake.
The dozens of bags of chips were later sent into the incinerator in the presence of officials, among them various law enforcement units.
This is a very good process, because if you look at it, Operation No Compromise mounted this operation in collaboration with the health workers, and it was a successful operation. And today we are here to witness the burning of this product, because it is not fit for human consumption. As we are all aware that the perpetrators were brought to the book, and they were all sentenced accordingly. And directives were given that these things should be disposed by way of burning it, and we deem it necessary that we are still part of the process, and we should witness every process that is. What we are telling people is that the law is here to be enforced. In the first place, if the law is not to be enforced, then in the first place it should not be there. But the law is here, and we have very good laws. We want the cooperation from the citizens of this country, and from every resident in this country, non-citizens and citizens as well. Because Operation No Compromise is here to complement the effort of other security outfits.
This is the latest step taken by authorities to reduce the spread of unhealthy food produced and supply for public consumption.
All that we eat comes from our environment. So what we eat, should be fit for human consumption. And what we throw into the environment also comes back to us. So we get our living out of the environment. So the environment must be kept clean. So these food items, if they were not confiscated, they probably would have been illegally thrown somewhere in the environment, and which in turn would affect us.
Huge quantities of expired flour and chips have already been destroyed, but officials are urging the public to halt the use of such foodstuff in order to safeguard the health of consumers. For Grts News, I am Fatou Jassi.
Fatou Jassi there instead of Abdullah Baji as announced earlier. Well, days after the deadly shopping mall incident in Nairobi, questions are emerging as to whether security forces could have done more to avert the situation. We'll be back with that and other developments from around the world. Welcome back. Now, 4 days after Kenyan security forces ended the siege at a Nairobi shopping mall, there is still no complete and definitive death toll. Parts of the building attacked by Al-Shabaab militants are still smoldering, and the Red Cross says it can't reach the bodies there. 67 people were killed in the standoff and dozens still unaccounted for. A source has revealed that a small store at the mall was rented by the gunmen or their accomplices a year before the assault. The Kenyan government praised its troops for a job well done in the aftermath, but now questions are emerging about the military's response and whether it could have saved more lives.
Carefully on the road to recovery, Ben Mulwa says he's one of the lucky ones. A gunman shot him in the first moments of the attack, he says, but the bullet glanced off his knee.
One thing that still surprises me to date is they were so easy. They were so easy and they were so calm. They didn't appear to be bothered by anything, including a possibility of anybody retaliating. They didn't seem bothered at all.
He says 4 heavily armed gunmen, some in flip-flops, picked off people one by one.
They were not running. So he sees somebody trying to run, they shoot. They see another person, they shoot. They were not in a hurry.
In the chaotic first moments of the attack, private security, armed civilians, and a handful of police responded, quickly joined by Kenya's elite paramilitary forces. Witnesses to the operation say they systematically cleared the floors, bravely saving hundreds of stranded and terrified victims. and fought the attackers into one corner of Westgate. The Kenyan Army, or KDF, then moved in, and late Saturday, the government declared victory.
Hostages have been released and the rescuers and the KDF have taken control of the entire building.
But they weren't in control. Witnesses and security sources tell me that when the Kenyan military moved in, there was a friendly fire incident, and those forces scattered. The incident in which a Kenyan official may have been accidentally killed by other Kenyan forces caused chaos. It allowed the attackers to dig in, and U.S. intelligence officials worry that some of them could have escaped. Witnesses describe an uncoordinated, confused response. It would take 4 agonizing days for the siege to end. Despite years of terror warnings in Kenya, few expected the sheer scale and violence of the attack. Security analysts believe because of its ruthlessness, any response would have been difficult. Survivors are left wondering how they made it out.
I saw somebody get shot in the head and he died instantly, 2 feet in front of me. And I don't think there's anything I've done special to deserve to be alive today, or anything wrong he might have done to deserve to have died that time. So I count myself extremely lucky to be alive today.
Now, foreign forensic experts are trying to piece together exactly what happened and how many died. Until then, we won't know the true scale of this attack.
David Mackenzie there. The last U.S. president to speak directly to the leader of Iran was Jimmy Carter, and that was 1979. Well, all of that changed Friday when Barack Obama made a phone call to Hassan Rouhani at Iran's invitation. Observers say it may be the first step to a change in relations between longtime foes. We have details in this report.
It was just a 15-minute phone call, but one that was 34 years in the making.
The very fact that this was the first communications between an American and Iranian president since 1979 underscores the deep mistrust between our countries, but it also indicates the prospect of moving beyond that difficult history.
The prospect of reaching an agreement on Iran's nuclear program seemed out of reach just weeks ago.
While there will surely be important obstacles to moving forward, and success is by no means guaranteed, I believe we can reach a comprehensive solution.
A sentiment echoed by Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, who tweeted word of his call with Obama before the president confirmed it. Rouhani ended a week-long charm offensive in New York with a promise to submit a plan on Iran's nuclear program by next month.
I assure you that on the Iranian side, this will is there fully 100% that in a very short period of time, there will be a settlement on the nuclear issue.
President Rouhani then denied critics' charges that renewed negotiations were really just one more delay tactic, so Iran could secretly work toward a nuclear bomb.
We have never chosen deceit as a path. We have never chosen secrecy.
We spoke with a member of his inner circle, Vice President and Minister of Culture, Muhammad Ali Najafi.
What has to happen is that both sides have to follow up. If just one side takes steps and the other doesn't respond, naturally this process will reach a dead end.
As for that historic call between the presidents, a senior administration official said it was cordial in tone, and both leaders expressed a determination to resolve the nuclear issue, quote, peacefully and expeditiously.
From that historic phone call between Iran's Hassan Rouhani and Barack Obama, there are a recovery of stories once again. President Jammeh has urged world leaders to place greater priority on conflict prevention as he addresses the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education and the Gambia Transport Service Company are rolling out new buses at affordable fees to help ease transportation for students in the Greater Banjul area. Kenyan investigators are coming through the debris of the Westgate shopping mall siege amid questions of a serious intelligence failure in preventing the attacks. And supporters of the controversial Greek party, the Golden Dawn, have held nationwide protests following the arrest of a member of the party for the alleged killing of an anti-fascist musician. Well, that does it for this newscast. Stay tuned to Grts and join us at 10 p.m. for another newscast. Until then, enjoy our programs. Bye-bye.